Walaikum assalam rahmatullah.
Thank you for allowing me to speak here tonight in front of all of these amazing Islamic scholars. I would like to start my session today with a father-son conversation. And not just any conversation. It is recorded in the Quran. Yaqub alayhi salam is having this discourse with his son Yusuf alayhi salam. He starts off by saying, وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ. Your Lord will choose you for a special task because you have good qualities in you. And then he keeps telling him, وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. Allah will teach you how to interpret all kinds of events, not just dreams. You'll be able to figure out and analyze what people say and what they really mean. وَيُتِمُّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكَ. And Allah will complete His favor unto you, meaning you have a great, fantastic future ahead of you. كَمَا أَتَمَّهَا عَلَى أَبَوَيْكَ مِنْ قَبْلُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ. And it's the same kind of perfection that Allah gave your ancestors, Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam, meaning you're part of a proud legacy. Now, dear audience, let me ask you, what happened soon after that? Yes, Yusuf alayhi salam was kidnapped. He did not see his father again. He spent his entire childhood as a servant in a non-Muslim family. There was no Islamic influence, no moral supervision. Unlike many of the children of the parents here today, he did not go to any Islamic school. He had no access to masjid. He was falsely accused and ended up in jail where he was surrounded by criminals. So basically, he was in a kufr society for a large portion of his life. And Yusuf alayhi salam clearly did not grow up in some sort of environment that helped to cultivate his good moral character or great personality. Allah forbid, if we the children, if we get derailed today, then what would our parents say? A lot of our parents would blame our culture. They denounce our environment. They blame society. They say, oh, this is the curse of raising children in a non-Muslim country. However, no matter what type of negative environment Yusuf alayhi salam found himself in, he was able to strongly hold on to his religion, dignity, and virtue. So how could he do that? Yes, it was all because of those substantive and corroborative words of his father during his early age. You have a great future. You have many opportunities awaiting you. Allah will give you a special status. The injection of all of these inspirational and provocational words remained with him throughout his life. And the light of these words removed all the darkness around him. And this is exactly why the conversation between a parent and a child is so important. These conversations are the most important tool of positive parenting. A lot of our parents don't really talk to us a lot, right? I'm not talking about everyone with respect to all our parents here, but some parents don't really admire their children a lot. And even if they do talk to them, they don't admire them or praise them to a great extent. Maybe some parents think that if they admire their children, they'll become full of pride and arrogance, right? But our parents hardly have any discussion or dialogue with us like that of Yaqub alayhi salam and Yusuf alayhi salam. Parents don't consider this significant to provide a positive push or a moral boost to the youngsters. But I think that that's really important to bring out the light inside us, no matter how intense darkness and toxic society surrounds us. Parents should continuously acknowledge us by saying how great the future is and what opportunities are waiting us and what great potentials that we have. Instead, what kind of conversations do our parents really have with us? Right? I'm not talking about everyone, but a lot of the parents just keep asking their children, did you finish your food at lunch? Did you do your homework? Did you pray salah? These are our conversations. That's it. There's no real validation, no medical support. Food, salah, homework, and years go by. With the children, parents won't be able to grow a sense of connection if they have artificial and fragile conversations like these. And not only that, but if we walk in when our parents are having conversations among themselves, a lot of the parents would say, you know, go away, we're talking right now, don't disturb us, study, play games, whatever, just don't disturb us right now, right? And what's worse is that same parent will blame that child that my child doesn't want to talk to me or he doesn't talk to me too much. And when that child goes on social media and he or she posts a video or a photo and he gets these likes, comments, and shares, he feels like he's being noticed. Someone's there to listen to him. He feels endorsed, right? And he was supposed to be getting that feeling from home, from his parents. So we are growing up, we the children, we're growing up learning that our parents are not the people we should talk to. We feel like outsiders, and we realize that the only time we have to talk to our parents, that we absolutely need to talk to our parents, is when we're hungry or we need something. And otherwise, we just talk to our friends. And this is how we start developing emotion that we don't express to our parents. We don't let our parents know that we feel lonely all the time. We don't let our parents know that, you know, I think you care only about more money, another house, social ambition, political ambition, social status, and you care about everything that directly impacts you. You don't really care about me or my future. And listening to this, I mean, I know a lot of the parents are thinking like, what do you mean I don't care about my child? I work hard, I earn money, I bring food, I buy them whatever they want, right? Phones, laptops, TV. So what do you mean I don't care about my child? Well, if you ask yourself a couple of questions, you know, the answer will speak for itself. Like, have you read your child's favorite book? Have you watched your child's favorite movie? Or do you just watch your political talk shows? Can you name more than 5 classmates of your child, right? These questions the answers to these questions will speak for themselves. And since we don't like to express ourselves, a lot of the parents will say, my child doesn't think like that. He or she, like, other kids may have this problem, but my child never thinks like that. And then my child is a perfect drug. But when that same kid is 16 years old and he starts expressing himself a bit, the same parents are in shock. I don't know what happened. My child was such a good person. Now he doesn't tell me where he's going. He, you know, yells back. He runs away. He doesn't tell me where he's going. He comes back late at night. This was not all of a sudden. This was happening one step at a time for 5, 6, 7 years until the point where he or she realized that his parents don't understand him. And even if he tries to explain it, their parents will lose their minds, right? And here is where Allah mentions what happens after that in ayah 59 of Surah Maryam. فَخَلَفَ مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ خُلْفٌ. The next generation that came after them was a complete disappointment. So how were they a complete disappointment? Allah salat. They wasted their prayer. Allah did not say they did not pray. Allah said they did pray, but they wasted it. So how did they waste their prayer? وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَةِ. They did what their desires told them to do. They didn't listen. They followed what they wanted to do, and that's why their prayer was wasted. So the million-dollar question is, how will our parents make sure that we don't get driven by our harmful friends at school? How will they make sure that we don't get obsessed with these devices? How will they make sure that we don't waste our time, precious time, making these nonsense TikToks, right? I know some parents are thinking, well, I'm done. I've put my child into a madrasa and they're memorizing the Quran in 2 to 3 years, inshallah, which, mashallah, is amazing, right? Now this 10 to 12-year-old child, when he or she goes, eventually they'll go to public school. So when they go to school, they'll be even more exposed to what's going on in social media and at school, and they'll find out what the others are talking about, right? And now their nice tajweed will not be there to guide them. Dear parents, you are the ultimate teacher of your child. It doesn't matter if you do so-called an odd job or not. The biggest shape of your child is you. And no one can outsource that job. We are constantly observing your priority in life. We are constantly observing how you act at home. And it will all come out when we are teenagers, the most emotionally turbulent years of our life. Then we won't listen to what our parents say. Instead, we'll reflect on how we think our parents are. So you have to understand what's going on in our mind in silence. You have to understand what it is that we are really scared to tell you. And then you have to implant or plant something in us that acts as an antivirus and helps us deal with what we have to face at school and in social media. Yelling at us doesn't really help, trust me. If you constantly yell at us and say, pray, 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 yes, we will pray. But our intention, our niyyah, will be that my parents are telling me to pray, so I have to pray. When we are with our friends, there is no parents, and so that's why there is no salat. I'll give you an example. One parent is yelling, don't talk to your friends for that long. Come back and do your homework, come and study. Don't, spend all your time chatting with your friends, and don't be like your terrible friends who are doing it as well. And then there's this other parent that says, I love you for all the things you do, and I love you more when I see that you shorten your time talking to your friends, and you come and you do your homework and you study. So what do you think? Which parent will have a stronger relationship with the child? And if your relationship with your child is destroyed, then trust me, Shaitan's job is done. And this is exactly what Allah mentions in the immediate prior ayah of the discussion between Yaqub a.s. and Yusuf a.s. where he describes what happened, where Allah describes what happens after that. Inna shaytana lil-insani aduwwun mubin, which means that shaitan is an open enemy to mankind. And what is the most powerful way for shaitan to destroy mankind? Well, it's definitely to destroy the unit that holds all of mankind together, which is nothing but the family. Which means that shaitan is most active inside the family. And if these blood ties can be destroyed, then what is left to humanity? It's all destroyed, right? So now, not only is your relationship between you and your child broken, but the relationship between your child and Allah will also weaken. And if you parents are not having a conversation with us to diagnose what it is that we need to hear from you, what it is that we are really scared to tell you, then we will have this conversation with someone else. And so what happens after that? At our early age, when we used to draw something or make something, we would always run to you parents and like, look mom, look what I made, look mama, look what I drew, right? And we constantly try to impress you, but some parents would just ignore. And so that same child, when he or she is 10 or 11 or 12, and you ask them, what are you doing? They say nothing. Who are you talking to? Just somebody. What did you make today? Nothing. All of a sudden, we're not trying to impress you anymore, we're busy trying to impress our friends. So that's why if you pay attention to when we try to impress you in our early age, trust me, we will impress you later on. Right? And your continuous guidance and supervision in the form of positive conversations will help us to choose the right friends. Otherwise, we'll choose the wrong friends and do bad things to impress those wrong friends. And the last thing I want to talk about is comparison. A lot of the parents keep comparing their children to others, right? And some of us will get a chance, or will get accepted into the best universities, and some will go to community college. So what should our parents say? Why can't you be like her? Why can't you, get results like him? Not at all. This why can't you language has to go away, because we are who we are and we don't have to be like others. And Allah also says this in the Quran. In ayah 32 of Surah Nisa, Allah says, وَلَا تَتَمَنَّى مَا فَضَلَ اللَّهُ بِهِ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ, which means, do not wish for in what Allah has made you to excel than others. I'll give you an example. If one of us becomes a doctor and the other becomes a car mechanic, there's nothing wrong in that. This is not a catastrophic failure. Maybe in 5 years or 6 years, the car mechanic will have more workshops and he'll be more successful than that doctor. We never know, right? So parents should not want something from children only because some other kids have that. May Allah allow all of us to become the kind of children that we're supposed to be. And may Allah allow all of us to become the kind of parents we're supposed to be. To nurture the children in a way that pleases Allah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum.